Tell me what you want me to do with my life. Be my guiding light every day and night. Help me out in my decision making. I know by you I'm never forsaken. Making you Lord, choosing to put you first in the ever-passing moment. Grateful for your atonement, living at one with you. Happy because of your sacrifice, filling my heart with joy. So glad I'm in your employ. You're my boss. You don't toss me aside. When I indulge in that sinful mindset, when I forget to crucify my mentality on a daily basis, recognize the reality that we are in a state of war. You are the one we're fighting for. We can't ignore your truth. We do so at our own peril. Your gates are adorned with beryl, among other precious stones. You never leave us alone. When we die, we know you're gonna take us home. I've got a ticket to ride on the glory train to the other side. In you I abide, identified as your bride. Your formula for successful living is tried and true. You promised us we would have a long life in the land we have been given, if we obey our parents, if we stay submitted to you. So long as those two things don't contradict each other. I know you're living in this, brother. Help me to discover new worlds. I can't keep you to myself. Taking up the cross and following you to the ends of the earth. Loving you because you're faithful and true. Every day your mercies are brand new. I'm fully relying on you. I'm depending on you for my breath. You give me life after death. You're the one I wanna rep everywhere that I go, because I know that you're living inside of my soul. Cast aside all doubts and misgivings, washed away in the morning tide. That crimson flood, your precious blood, cleaning me from the inside out. When the world looks at me, let them see you moving inside of me. In you I live and move and have my being. You were freeing me from hell's prison cells. In your presence night and day I dwell. Down on my knees, begging for mercy, knowing I'm not worthy of the love that you show me. You're the one who brings the whole world together, no matter what the weather. We can find safety and comfort under your feathers. Let our ties to you never be severed. You're so kind and so clever. Wit sharper than a meat cleaver. You take me to a higher level and I ain't even gotta pull a lever. Had to take a breather. Even you took a day of rest, but you were in an active state of rest. You weren't a lazy bones, like the way some of us are sometimes. Sucking off too much when there's a job to be done. We gotta get out there and tell the world about you, because we're running out of time. The sand is quickly trickling to the bottom of the hourglass. We don't want another opportunity to pass us by. See, we've got opportunities everywhere we go. We can't let them slip through our fingers anymore, 'cause the final hour is upon us. Who knows how much time we've got before all our time is up? We've got to start living like you could return any second. What do you reckon? What do you think about this decision that I'm making? These options that I've got before me. What relationship should I be in? I need your guidance. You don't let me perish in silence. I heed your warning sirens. I'm relying on you for everything that I have in this life, my food and shelter. The freedom to worship you, I know it's all a gift from you. The clothes that cover my body so I'm not naked shivering in the cold. It's all because of you. I'm so glad I've got you to have and to hold. Trusting in you, even if nobody else will. I don't care if following you is popular. I'm still gonna love you with every breath I take. So grateful that you chose to die for me on that cross. You willingly surrendered your life so I can obtain freedom. You broke me out of hell's prison cells. You broke my chains so I can remain day and night in your presence. Living in your freedom, abandoning myself to your will, choosing selflessness over selfishness. Help me to live out that servant-hearted mentality that you have. You turn dreams into reality. Show me a better way to be. Start living like I'm truly free, knowing that I got you living in me. Help me out, Lord, 'cause I get so obsessed, and that leads me to transgressions. I digress from that righteous road. Help me to know the role that people are supposed to play in my life, so I can maintain that friendship, so they stay in my life instead of straying from my life. It's easy for us to see somebody as a husband or wife when you never intended them to be that way. But sometimes you do intend for them to be that way, and they just don't know the role that you intended for them to play in our lives. But we can't push them. You can't stir up love until it pleases. So sometimes you just gotta let sleeping dogs lie. You can hear the cry of my heart. You can hear my desperation. You can see how much I want something to happen. Lord God, help me not to force it to happen, to be patient with your process. I know if you want it to happen, it's gonna happen. I gotta be patient and wait on you. Otherwise, how can I claim to be loving unless I'm patient? Unless I'm walking in your presence. There's so many bad things that are happening in our world. So many believers getting their heads chopped off, locked in jail, disowned from their families, kicked out their jobs, struggling to find a place to rent or a place to buy, struggling even to get a hospital to tend for them when they're sick. I guess that makes them relying on you more for their healing when they know that the doctors and nurses ain't gonna help them, because they only protect those who follow the same religion as them. This is the world that we're living in right now, divided between those that follow biblical truth and those that follow the truth according to their own interpretation, who call themselves gods. Let them try to rescue themselves. It ain't gonna happen. We're running out of time. The final hour is upon us. I don't want to waste a single rhyme, using every moment to praise you. Thank you, Lord, for your deliverance from hell of my soul. It's only because of you that I live and move and have my being. You were freeing me from hell's prison cells. You made me a brand new being, transformed by the renewing of my mind, presenting my body as a living sacrifice. Use my mind, will and emotions for your glory. Wash me in the ocean of your love. So grateful for your sacrifice, freely offering it up. Nobody forced you into it, even though they betrayed you. You stuck the ear back on of the person who was coming after you, taking you away. You didn't kick or scream, you just went through with it, 'cause you knew what your death would accomplish, what purpose it would serve. You didn't swerve from your destiny. There was nothing that could deter you from your calling. Even from the get-go, when you were a little lad, you knew what you would be facing. when other kids were playing games. You probably played them too, but you were careful that you didn't slip up in your witness, 'cause you knew a single sin could disqualify you from the purpose for which you were called. Help us to live like that too, being careful in what we say and do, remembering that celestial city that awaits for us, where there's no more pain, no more sin, where we have gained the greatest prize. Help us to keep our eyes on you, sundown to sunrise. Help us to realize how precious your love is. Let us never turn our backs on you, no matter how much time passes. Help us to remember that you're always there for us. Let the embers of our love for you never be burned out. Keep that faith burning strong inside our hearts. Let nothing take it away from us. I'm so glad that you died for us, even though I'm sad that it took your death for us to have life. Death has been swallowed up by life. Willingly you paid the price with your living sacrifice. I'm so grateful that you decided to die for us. Your heart cries for us. Our allegiance is to you. Above all flags, all anthems, all countries, all love and loyalties. Above friends and family, Christ's family. That's the family that matters more than any other kind of family. The body of Christ. That's where our loyalty lies. I know I'm gonna meet you when you split the skies, or when I rise up in spirit form to be with you, walking on the streets of gold. So glad that you hold on to me. Even when I'm faithless, help me to be faithful. I know only the faithful will get to heaven, so I'm holding on to your promises, knowing that you're coming back again. So grateful for the fact that you're living inside of me. You chase away my doubts and misgivings. You help me out when I'm struggling. You help me out when I feel like I can't go on any longer. When it feels like I'm at the end of my tether, you help me no matter what the weather. You always provide for me a reason to go on. You strengthen me in my moments of weakness, when I'm depleted of energy, when it feels like I've got nothing left to say, when I'm about to hit the hate, when I'm about to give up on life, when it feels like I've come to my final resting place already, when my inspiration has hit rock bottom. You help me to bounce back. You give me the strength to go on. When I'm afraid of what other people say, you help me to have the boldness of a lion. Still remembering that I'm your lamb, that I'm precious in your sight, that you hold my life in your hands. Lord, I'm grateful for friends and family, never giving up on me, even when I want to give up on myself. Even when I want to give up on my faith, when it feels like I've got no place to go, you keep on holding on to me. Let me turn to you as the first port of call, not a last resort. You are my fort. You are my fortress of safety, even when I'm acting fortless. Fighting those evil desires inside. Not dancing with the devil any longer, 'cause you're living inside of me. A house divided against itself cannot stand. You kick the devil out. You take away my fear and doubt. You help me to take a different route. You're the one that I'm crazy about. Crazy in love with you. I don't want to be lazy when it comes to standing up for truth. I don't want to be pushing up daisies. I don't want to wait until I'm dead as a dodo, until I'm almost dead and gone before I stand up for you and start living for you. Even though I know you're gracious and merciful, you can take us to heaven. Even if we live a sinful life full of lies, you can rescue us on our deathbed. But I don't want to be so arrogant, and I don't want to waste my life when all these opportunities present themselves. I don't want them to just slip through my fingers. I want to serve you with my whole heart, not be half-hearted, not be half-baked in a way that I express my ideas. Your perfect love casts out all fear. I'm panting for you like some thirsty deer. I've been engineered by you. I'm sincerely in love with you. You endear yourself to me with the fact that you willingly choose to sacrifice your life for one who is so hateful, for one who has previously only seen you as a stranger and an enemy. For one who has ignored your truth, ignored your calling on my life. You call us to worship you in spirit and truth. You make culture for the purpose of worshiping you. You know what's going on beneath the surface of this kid. You call all nations to spread the message of salvation. Not to isolate ourselves from each other's cultures, but to use all culture for your glory. Not to think of ourselves inferior to another or superior to another. You bring us all together, no matter what the weather. In you we find unity, concentrating on our similarities instead of our differences, concentrating on our commonalities instead of the things that divide us, concentrating on the things that unite us, not being too frightened to stand up for righteousness in a world of wickedness, not caring who we offend, not following trends unless the trends follow the Messiah, lifting Jesus higher, deaf to my desires. I'm wired to the cross. That's why sometimes I get my wires crossed. I ain't crossing the line. I'm lining my life up with the cross, consulting you for guidance before I make any decision, doing what brings you pleasure. Acts of generosity can lead me into catching feelings for a perfect stranger, starting to go down that romantic road inside my mind when I'm choosing to be helpful to the opposite sex, but you refuse to allow me to go down that road when you know where it leads, when it doesn't prove helpful if I have no intention to follow through. Not that being in a relationship is bad, but you know when I'm ready for one, and when I gotta hold my horses, when I gotta G up, because I can get into idolatry so easily, freeing up space in my heart that should be reserved for you entirely. It's hard to share space, it's hard to put you first and not put you second. When it comes to females, I lack my loyalty to you in jail, posting bail, hailing you as King of Kings and Lord of Lords. Help me not to worship females when I love a female. Help me to get my priorities right, to make spending time with you primary in importance over spending time with her, even though she's so sweet like cherry pie. Help me to do what pleases you and not just what pleases myself. Even though I'm torn inside when I'm sitting on the fence, I know when she loves Jesus, it's easy to love you. It's easy to avoid making an idol out of her because she constantly pushes me towards doing the right thing. She's a positive influence on me. That's why I love having a female who loves Jesus in my life, even if she only ever plays the role of friend. What do you intend for my future? You made that difference. I'm so grateful for the fact that you died for my sins on the cross. Help me to live for you 24/7, not just when I'm in church, not just when it's easy to act like a Christian, when I'm surrounded by other Christians. Help me to glisten, to glow brightly for you. Help me to listen to your guiding voice, helping me to make the right choice, even when I want to make the wrong choice. Thanks to you, my future is brighter, more beautiful than the Rolls Royce. Help me to keep on rolling with you, no matter what the world is doing. Help me not to bite off more than I can chew. I know you said you wouldn't give us more than we can handle, but sometimes life seems like that. When friends and family desert us, when they up and leave, when they leave us grieving just because of something we've said, and we know we can't double back on ourselves. We can't change our words. We can't go back on what we said because we know we were walking in your will. We were doing what pleases you. And we can't contradict your truth just for the sake of regaining a friend. Cause you will bring back a friend if they are meant to come back into our lives. 'Cause standing up for righteousness can lose you friends sometimes, and then you have to suffer the consequences, and you put in a brave face. You don't want to be cowardly. It's not cowardly to admit that you're struggling, to admit that you're suffering pain for the sake of righteousness. And other people can see the reason for your suffering is because you love Him. And God will bless you for your choice. I know it's hard sometimes, when you're rolling with the punches, when you're trying to act like you're not affected, when you're dealing with the pain that you suffer because you choose the righteous road over the road of wickedness. And temporarily, you may miss out on some things. You may miss out on chilling. You may miss out on some parties. You may miss out on some hangout times, on some yarn sessions, on some times when you're yakking and offloading and letting out all the things that have been going through your mind and catching up with all the details of your lives. But you know that it's totally worth it, because you got treasures waiting for you in heaven that are better than all those times of laughter and joy that you used to share on the regular. And it gets hard because it gets awkward, because there's way too much catching up to do. So many events that you have to fill them in on, that you don't even want to bother, and they don't even want to bother because it's been too long since you were chilling with each other, kicking it, catching up with old times, reminiscing on old times, reveling in those memories. It's hard to do that, but you know God helps you to pick up where you left off. And together we have lift off. God lifts our spirit up above those circumstances. We can rise up from those ashes. He can bring something beautiful out of those ashes. He can turn us into a tree planted by our living water if we remain His faithful sons and daughters, following the things He taught us, even if we're making slow progress like a tortoise. For His sake, all day long, we are led like lambs to slaughter, pulled apart by horses, hung, drawn, and quartered. For your sake, God's children are still dying, hearts crying out for love, relying on Him 24/7. No longer sucking lemons, no longer living in that bitterness. Despite the fact we may have lost friends and family, we may have alienated and polarized friends and family, but it's worth it for the fact that you're living in us. You're giving us strength, you're giving us freedom, you're helping us out in our struggles, you're helping us to go on, to keep on going, to keep our eyes on that heavenly prize, knowing that it's worth it, that we've got something beautiful waiting for us when we die. It's written in your love letter. You help us through all the struggles in life. You help us not to reposition you as second when you should be first. Help us to prioritize, to give you complete authority over our lives. Jehovah Jireh, so glad that you provide everything we truly need in this life. We think we need friendships, but more than anything else, we need you. Lord God, I'm so thankful for those family and friends that never went away. Family are compelled and obligated more to stick with me, but they ain't gotta do that. And my bestie ain't gotta be so loving and forgiving as she is. I'm so grateful that she walks in your spirit, walks according to your spirit, not according to the flesh. Turns the other cheek, acts humble and meek 7 days a week. I can learn a lot from her. It's a lifelong learning experience. Even if she's younger than me, it's like she's older than me when it comes to maturity. She's miles ahead of me, improving by leaps and bounds on the daily. That's why she's got me gushing, singing her praises, singing the praise of the Ancient of Days who's living inside of her. I ain't got it twisted. I ain't worshiping her as a God when I should be worshiping God. I know I got it wrong in the past. I found a love that lasts for a lifetime, that kind of friendship love that lasts beyond the grave. I'm so grateful for that. I hope it never goes away. I'm so grateful that she never strays. I watch and pray. Your angels are watching over her everywhere that she goes. I know she knows you. I know she loves you. I know she tries her best to please you above anybody else. Whether or not it wins her praises from friends or mockery. whether or not it gives her likes or angry faces, whether people respond to the fact that she's living for you properly and not loving on you sloppily, not just cherry picking verses that agree with the lifestyle that we choose to live, not just agreeing with the Bible when it's convenient, when it doesn't challenge us on the way that we're living. Cast aside all doubts and misgivings. Jesus Christ, I know you help us with every struggle that we face in life. I know you're always there for us to answer our prayers. I just want to share the difference that you made in my life. I know you're living inside of my soul. You console me like nobody's business. Help me to consult you for guidance and never think that I know better than you. I'm not sweating it when I face attacks from the enemy. Even though it's stressing me out, you take away my fear and doubt. You're blessing me 24/7. You're always there with me. I can always feel your presence. I'm justified by faith. I know the old me doesn't have to be the current me. You've given me a brighter future because you're living in me. You're helping me out of my struggle. You're helping me out in this war. You are the one that I'm fighting for. Delighting in you, Lord. You're my commander-in-chief. Commander of the armies of heaven. You're helping me out in my fight. Helping me to do what's right when I want to do what's wrong. Change the desires of my heart so they reflect yours. The more I endure, the more the days go by, the more I find myself desiring what pleases you above what just pleases myself. I take pleasure in doing what you love. I know you delight in the praises of your people. Help me to choose to do what's good and not what's evil. Help me to respect people, to reflect your love, to love people even if I can't bring them to respect them, to remember that you died for them. You protect them from harm, even if they're not walking in your will. I know you can't bless them with the best kind of eternal life unless they're sorry for their sins. You help us to win. Help me to hear your voice above the din, to greet everybody with a happy grin, to walk in love even when I want to walk in the opposite spirit. Thank you, Lord, for never calling it quits on me. Even when I give up on myself, even when I give up on people, thank you, Lord, that you never treat me like that. Thank you, Lord, for loving me into your kingdom. You're my holy and righteous judge. Justice and mercy kissing on the cross. I deserve to die for my sins, but you chose to die for me. You chose to make a way for me so I don't have to spend my days burning in the fires of hell. I can't keep my faith locked up inside a shell. I can't keep it to myself. In you I find true wealth. I'm so grateful, Lord, for the fact that you died for me. My soul cries for you. I'm the apple of your eye. In you I find my identity. I'm redeemed from the devil's schemes, no longer making excuses for the way that I used to act, because I know that's useless. I know that I can't be blessed unless I'm walking away from that old life, choosing to do the things that please you. So grateful for the fact that you keep all my homies alive. Watch over them, help them out in their fight for justice. It sucks to see people getting beaten up for what they believe, or just because of the color of their skin. I know that you don't think that way. You want everybody to be walking in love. You don't want us hating on each other because of the color of our skin, because you made every single color of the rainbow. And you are every color of the rainbow. You are not one specific color. You are beyond color. You are beyond gender. You bring all genders and colors together. You bring all races together. You help us out in this race. You are the one we're chasing after, walking after your will. Help us to be calm and still. Let justice be done. Let the judges walk according to your spirit, not according to your flesh. Let them judge in a righteous way, not just in a way that's convenient for them, that will bring them popularity from the crowds. I'm laughing out loud. I'm weeping with my brother and sister when they're weeping, and rejoicing with my brother and sister when they're rejoicing. Help us to walk in the ways of the King of Kings.